What if the strangest parts of ourselves aren't broken, but keys to something more? What if the whispers in our minds, the odd feelings, the dreams that make no sense, what if these aren't signs of something wrong, but rather secret messages, guiding us to a deeper truth about who we really are? This is a question that many have pondered, often in quiet moments, staring out at a star-filled sky or into the dancing flames of a fire. It's a question that asks us to look beyond what we can see and touch. The familiar path of reason and logic often tells us to ignore these strange parts, to push them down, to label them as odd or even wrong. But there was a man, a true trailblazer of the mind, who dared to look deeper. Carl Jung was his name, and he saw not madness in these hidden corners, but something else entirely, a journey. He was someone who dared to explore the deepest parts of our inner world, not with fear, but with a burning lamp of curiosity. He believed that within each of us lies a vast, unseen landscape, full of ancient wisdom and surprising guidance. Jung's journey began with listening to the tales of others, to the seemingly nonsensical ramblings of those deemed mad, and to the vivid, often unsettling stories of dreams. He wasn't just hearing words, he was listening to the echoes of something much older, something common to all people, no matter where they lived or what language they spoke. He saw patterns, not just in individuals, but across cultures and through time. Like a detective of the soul, he pieced together clues from myths, fairy tales, religious texts, and the art of ancient peoples. He found that the same symbols, the same kinds of heroes and villains, the same trials and triumphs, showed up again and again. He called these universal patterns archetypes. Think of them like invisible molds, deep within our shared human mind, that shape how we understand the world and ourselves. The hero archetype, for example, isn't just a character in a book, it's the part of us that feels called to overcome challenges, to be brave, to stand up for what's right. The wise old man, or wise old woman, is the part that seeks knowledge, offers guidance, and understands the deeper meaning of things. We see these archetypes in stories from every corner of the earth: Gilgamesh, Buddha, Joan of Arc, Luke Skywalker. They are not just stories, but reflections of these deep inner patterns. But Jung didn't just stop at archetypes. He also spoke of the collective unconscious, a vast ocean of shared experiences and knowledge that all humans are connected to. Imagine it like a hidden library, filled with the wisdom and memories of everyone who has ever lived. We don't consciously remember these things, but they influence our thoughts, our feelings, and our reactions. It's why certain images or ideas can feel so powerful or familiar, even if we've never encountered them directly. A sudden feeling of dread in a dark forest, a pull towards the unknown, a sense of wonder at a starry night. These can be echoes from this collective memory. Jung's most important idea, the one that ties all this together, is individuation. It's a big word, but it means something quite simple and incredibly profound: becoming the whole, unique person you were always meant to be. It's not about becoming perfect, or fitting into someone else's idea of who you should be. It's about integrating all the different parts of yourself, the good, the bad, the light, the shadow, into a complete and harmonious whole. Think of it like a sculptor working on a block of marble. The sculptor doesn't add anything to the marble. They chip away everything that isn't the final statue, revealing the form that was already hidden within. Individuation is a bit like that. It's a journey of self-discovery, where we peel back layers of what society expects of us, what our families told us we should be, and even what we ourselves think we should be, to uncover the authentic self beneath. This journey, however, is not always smooth or easy. In fact, it often feels messy, confusing, and sometimes, yes, a little bit like madness. Jung himself knew this. He went through a period in his own life, after his split from his mentor Sigmund Freud, that he called his confrontation with the unconscious. He deliberately delved into his own inner world, facing strange visions, hearing voices, and engaging in vivid fantasies. Many might have seen this as a breakdown, but Jung saw it as a necessary plunge into the depths of his own soul, a crucial step in his own individuation. He carefully documented this period in a large, red leather-bound book, often referred to as his Red Book, filled with his handwritten thoughts and striking artwork. It was a testament to his belief that even the most unsettling inner experiences could hold profound meaning. So, how do we begin this journey of individuation? It starts by paying attention. Paying attention to our dreams, which Jung saw as direct messages from our unconscious mind. Dreams don't speak in clear sentences. They speak in symbols, in stories, in feelings. A dream about a dark forest might not mean you literally need to go into a forest. It might mean you're facing something unknown or scary in your waking life. A dream about flying might be about freedom or escaping a difficult situation. Learning to listen to these dream messages, not to take them literally but to feel their deeper meaning, is a key step. It also means facing our shadow. The shadow is not evil. It's simply all the parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we hide, that we deny. It could be anger, jealousy, selfishness, or even creative talents we're afraid to show. We all have a shadow, and we often project it onto others, seeing in them the faults we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. When we hate someone for being arrogant, we might be unconsciously denying our own arrogance. When we judge someone for being messy, we might be ignoring our own areas of disorganization. Facing the shadow is uncomfortable. It means looking at the parts of ourselves we'd rather keep hidden in the dark. But Jung believed that only by acknowledging and integrating our shadow can we become whole. If we keep pushing it away, it can pop up in unexpected ways, leading to self-sabotage, outbursts of anger, or a general feeling of unease. Integrating the shadow isn't about letting it take over, it's about understanding it, accepting it as part of ourselves, and then finding healthier ways to express its energy. Perhaps the anger can be channeled into passionate advocacy, or the selfishness into healthy self-care. Another important aspect of individuation is understanding the anima and animus. Jung believed that men have a feminine side, the anima, and women have a masculine side, the animus. These are not about gender roles in society, but about the inner qualities and energies. For a man, the anima might represent his capacity for intuition, emotion, nurturing, or creativity. For a woman, the animus might represent her capacity for assertiveness, logic, action, or determination. When we ignore these inner opposites, we feel incomplete. A man who completely denies his emotional side might become rigid and cold. A woman who completely suppresses her assertive side might feel powerless and unable to act. Individuation involves acknowledging and developing these inner qualities, bringing them into balance. The process of individuation is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It's a constant dance between the conscious mind, what we know and think we know, and the unconscious mind, the vast, hidden depths. It's about becoming more aware of the invisible forces that shape us, and then choosing how we want to respond to them. It's about understanding that the seemingly random events in our lives, the synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that feel like more than just chance, can often be messages from our deeper self, guiding us along our path. Consider the role of symbolism in this journey. Jung saw symbols as bridges between the conscious and unconscious. A symbol is more than just an image, it carries a deep emotional and psychological weight. A snake, for example, can symbolize healing and transformation in some cultures, while in others it can represent danger and temptation. The meaning isn't fixed, it emerges from our own personal experience and our connection to the collective unconscious. When we pay attention to the symbols that appear in our dreams, our art, or even in our daily lives, we are opening a dialogue with our deeper self. Think about the archetypal journey of the hero. The hero often begins in an ordinary world, receives a call to adventure, crosses a threshold into the unknown, faces trials and tribulations, often with the help of a mentor, and eventually returns transformed. This isn't just a story outline, it's a map for our own lives. We all face calls to adventure, big and small. We all have moments where we must step into the unknown. We all encounter challenges that test us. And if we embrace these journeys, we return changed, wiser, more whole. But what happens when we resist this call to individuation? What happens when we refuse to look at our shadow, or listen to our dreams, or integrate our inner opposites? Jung believed that this resistance can lead to neurosis, a state of psychological distress. The energy that wants to move us towards wholeness doesn't just disappear, it gets blocked, twisted, and can manifest as anxiety, depression, or a feeling of meaninglessness. It's as if the hidden parts of ourselves are knocking louder and louder, trying to get our attention, and if we keep ignoring them, the knocking can become deafening. This is where the line between individuation and madness can sometimes feel blurry. When the unconscious erupts, when the archetypes demand recognition, it can feel overwhelming, chaotic, and even frightening. Visions, strong emotions, a sense of losing one's grip on reality. These experiences can be profoundly disorienting. But Jung would argue that sometimes, these intense experiences are precisely what is needed to break through old patterns and allow for growth. The madness is not necessarily a sign of a broken mind, but sometimes, a desperate attempt by the psyche to heal itself, to force us to pay attention to what we have ignored for too long. Of course, this doesn't mean every intense psychological experience is a sign of individuation. There is a clear distinction between a healthy engagement with the unconscious and a genuine psychological breakdown. The key difference often lies in the ability to return to conscious awareness, to integrate the insights gained, and to function effectively in the world. Jung's own journey, while intense, was always guided by his conscious intent to understand and integrate. He didn't lose himself in the depths, he explored them and brought back knowledge. So, how can we navigate this path without falling into genuine distress? It requires courage, self-awareness, and often, the guidance of a wise mentor or therapist who understands these deeper processes. It means approaching our inner world with respect and curiosity, rather than fear or judgment. It means being patient with ourselves, understanding that this is a long and winding road, not a straight highway. One way to engage with the process is through active imagination. This involves consciously entering into a dialogue with images, figures, or feelings that emerge from the unconscious. It might mean drawing a dream image, writing a story about it, or even having an inner conversation with a symbolic figure. This isn't about making things up, it's about giving voice to the unconscious, allowing it to communicate its messages in a more direct way. It's like building a bridge between your conscious self and your deeper self. Another practice is to simply observe. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Observe your feelings as they arise and pass. Observe the patterns in your relationships, the recurring themes in your life. What stories do you keep telling yourself? What roles do you keep playing? These observations can reveal the archetypal forces at play in your life and help you understand where your journey of individuation is calling you to go next. Consider the concept of the self in Jungian psychology. The self, with a capital S, is the ultimate goal of individuation. It's not the ego, the small I self that thinks it's in control. The self is the totality of who you are, the center of your entire psyche, encompassing both conscious and unconscious. It's the inner guiding force, the blueprint for your unique potential. When we align with the self, we feel a sense of purpose, meaning, and inner peace. We feel connected not just to ourselves, but to something larger than ourselves. This connection to the self often manifests as a feeling of wholeness or centeredness. It's when we feel truly authentic, living in alignment with our deepest values and purpose. It's a feeling of being fully alive, fully present, and fully ourselves. It's about finding that inner compass that always points us towards our true north. Jung's ideas are not just abstract theories. They offer a practical framework for understanding human experience. They help us make sense of why we behave the way we do, why certain relationships feel destined, and why certain experiences shake us to our core. They tell us that there's more to us than meets the eye, more than what our logical minds can grasp. So, when those strange whispers arise, when those odd feelings bubble up, when those dreams make no sense, consider them not as flaws, but as invitations. Invitations to a journey, a profound exploration of the hidden depths of your own being. It is a journey that can be challenging, but also incredibly rewarding. It is the path to becoming truly, uniquely, and completely you. In the quiet moments that follow this reflection, perhaps you might feel a gentle pull, a stir within your own inner landscape. What is it asking of you? What part of yourself is seeking to be seen, to be heard, to be integrated? What journey is your soul inviting you to embark upon? Take a moment, breathe deeply, and listen to the echoes of your own mysterious, wondrous mind. For within those depths lies not madness, but the profound potential for becoming whole.